Hello and welcome to another episode of the Anime Lounge Short Flights. I'm Lance here to talk about episode 18 of Ragna Crimson. If you've been following me to this point, you know that I read the manga along with each and every episode. And today's episode is only going to cover one chapter, chapter 41. And there's a reason for that, and I'll get to that in a minute. Let's start talking about what's going on here. Ragna's waking up in the dream. We find out that he got teleported. He's not teleported to this place in the dream per se, but we do get a little bit of information from Princess Silverware. She's going to be making a sword, and she's going to be using either her mind or her soul or her heart or something along those lines. And I'm starting to think that this sword is going to come, like, she's going to take her entire body. Like, we already know she's dead. In the real world, she got her head chopped off, and everybody's grieving for her outside. But she's still going to make a sword somehow. So I can just imagine some anime logic where her body itself is just going to like collapse and morph into some giant, awesome sword that Ragna's going to be able to use. So I can't wait to see that. This Silver Comet is pretty interesting in that aspect. Now, after 2 days of sleep, Ragna wakes up, gets introduced to this new little area that he's living in at the moment, and we end up meeting this new sun cult. Finally, get to meet who these guys are. These dragon scourge are supposed to be super powerful, and to top it off, they all look like Ultimatia. That was quite the shocker. I was very excited to see that. And not only is there one of them, but there's a shit ton of them. So that's very interesting. And it makes more sense why one of those sun cultists could be the dragon monarch. So I think it's obvious that one of them just got snatched up and just got given some dragon blood and is now a dragon. So I can't wait for that one to get explained like point blank, straight to our faces, or even to see some backstory on that. Let me go into a little bit of manga stuff because this is where the manga kind of splits. I said this only took over chapter 41. Everything up until meeting the Sun Cultist, punching her in the face, getting introduced to the 100 of them. That's all in the manga, but then it instantly stops there. The next chapter is on the moon. We are on the moon training. We got Crimson and Ragna just floating in space. And I didn't read too far ahead. I skipped another chapter, just scrolled through to see if anything else got skipped. But no, the next two chapters is training on the moon. So I can jump forward and say when we meet up with Crimson and Chimera, I assume we're going to just teleport to the moon and start training because something's going to happen. It's very interesting. Now that I know that's going to happen, I'm so interested to see what happens next. I didn't read it all because I wanted to just keep everything straight. So, to be fair, the conversation that Ragna has with the Sun Cultist on top of that rooftop or whatever, none of that happened in the manga. Don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's going to happen in like a flashback kind of thing in later chapters. I'll explain. Maybe I can share that with you guys later if that ever happens. But yeah, him deciding to reject joining the Sun Cultists in order to save all of the civilians, that never happens in the manga. So I wonder what's going to happen in the anime now. So are we going to go to the moon and train and then go get into a big fight with the Sun, or not the Sun Cult, Ultimatia? Be interesting. I like that Ragna threatened to kill every single one of the Sun Cultists. They gave me a little giggle because I know he could, even though they have time-stopping magic. That might be interesting too. Might need more of those sun grenades. But they're not dragons. It doesn't matter. Ooh, the Sun Cult is going to be very powerful because of that. I like to see them in action. I'd like to see them fight some dragons. We got to see that. I'd be surprised if we didn't see that. Anyway, I think that's pretty much what we're going to be looking at. I gave you guys the biggest spoiler, what's going to happen next. Can't wait to see that. So I'll just talk to you guys next week.